Well, you see, they're everywhere. If you walk down a street in any town of this country, there is no way that you will not meet one of them. You won't recognize him because he doesn't really look any different than the rest of the people in the street. But they are there, thousands of them, people who committed horrible crimes during the war. And the thing is, they will never be brought to court. The justice will simply not reach them. What's worst of all, it seems to me that they will live among us until they die of old age.
Beneath the fertile clay of the Bosnian countryside lies the evidence of horror and bereavement. 10 years have passed since war ravaged Bosnia, but the survivors are still searching for their missing children, husbands, wives and relatives. The exhumation of suspected mass graves has become a matter of daily routine. Unidentified victims are stacked in a vast refrigerated room. Fragments of life, photographs of pieces of bone and items of clothing may mean the end of the search for a missing relative.
The majority of them have waited a minimum of 7 or 8 years, and some of them indeed now over a decade from when the conflict started in Croatia back in '91. And when we meet these families, it is the one thing they need to know. Although in their hearts and indeed in their minds, they in the main have accepted that they almost certainly are dead. They do need this final closure so they can bury their loved one, they can get the grieving process over, and they can commence some form of a normal life again.
Gordon Bacon and his international team are using DNA analysis and data banks to carry out their specialised detective work.
They want justice, and in many cases I think they want vengeance, because they realise that their loved one was cruelly, brutally murdered for being the wrong ethnic group in the wrong place at the wrong time. Many people know who the perpetrators are, or they've been told, and therefore they believe they know, and I think they do want both if they can get it, but they very much want the bodies, the knowledge that the person is definitely dead.
One neighbor asked me, "Do you know what happened to your family in Biljani?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" She said, "Do you know that they're all killed?" And I thought that she's telling me something like just to provoke me. I didn't know why. I didn't realize that she's telling the truth. I couldn't believe. And I came home. My mom looked pretty much upset, but we were all upset all the time. And then she went out, and when she came back, she asked me, what did I hear? And I told her that woman told me whatever she told me. And then she said, I went out and asked people around in uniform, what can they tell me about it? What happened in Biljani? And one of her pupils, ex-pupils, just told her to go back to her apartment to hide because something terrible is happening, and you could feel it in the air. It was a death silence, and you couldn't see a living creature on the street.
Northwest Bosnia was, before the war, an ethnically mixed area where few cared about religion.
We found out that one girl went to mosque. Oh, we were all laughing to her, poor little girl. Like, she was so embarrassed that she did that. It was disgraceful. Like, nobody does that. We're all communists, proud to be Tito's pioneers and stuff like that. And I knew no Serbs that went to churches. I had a boyfriend that was Serb, that was my first love, and his parents told him that he cannot see me anymore because I am a Muslim. And that was the first time when somebody told me that I'm something. I couldn't figure out why would I be different from that boy or his sister. His parents told him you cannot be with her because she's Muslim, she's not good enough. And that was basically the worst thing. Like, the only thing that distinguished us was our names, actually. Like when you put name Amra, that's a Muslim girl from sure. And when you just mix them a bit, you will get Mara, which is a Serb name. So it was just letters. It was just nothing, insignificant.
But it was exactly this apparently insignificant difference between people that was to sow the seeds of the enormous catastrophe that was to come. In the summer of 1992, in the village of Biljani, a massacre took place. The burnt-out ruins still stand as silent witnesses to the crimes that took place on that sunny day during the first summer of the war.
They were in the school for some time, and I don't know if some of them were killed in the school or outside of the building, but 248 people, I think of it, 42, I'm not sure, still don't have a courage to go at that cemetery, that graveyard, to count them all. I haven't been there. I just passed by, but I haven't been there. But they were all, I believe that they were all killed in front of the building, I don't know. At that day, I lost a grandfather who was 70-something old, and her daughter she was 16 years old, and one uncle, and aunt that had 2 kids. One was a boy, 4 years old, and a girl, 1 year old.
They killed children and women as well, and
Yes.
girls?
Yes. I don't know are there any other women at that cemetery now, maybe a few, I'm not sure. But for my family there was 4 women, actually 3 women and 1 little girl.
The identity of the murderers is well known. Most of them lived in the village.
All of them were people from Sanica and from Bilan and from local, from that area. So neighbors, friends, teachers, medical workers, friends.
Marko Samadja was one of the friends. A teacher by profession, he led the massacre.
There is a guy, and he survived that execution, and he went to testify in Hague a month ago.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon.
You are about to start giving evidence in this case, but before you do so, the gentleman who is standing next to you will hand you the text of a solemn declaration to tell us the truth in the course of your testimony, and I kindly invite you to...
Hussein Chayic was 16 in the summer of 1992. Here he is giving evidence against 2 of the highest-ranking Serbs responsible for crimes in northwest Bosnia. But none of the men that ordered and carried out the mass murder in Biljani has yet been brought to trial.